Okay, welcome to Taste and See. This is episode 8 of the podcast.
Yep.
And today we're going to talk about marriage.
Yes. Marriage.
Marriage.
Come on, Princess Bride.
All right, so where do you want to start, baby?
Where do you want to start?
Let's start in the scriptures. That's
That
always
sounds
a good
good.
place.
Perfect.
So this is an amazing scripture. Now I can put my glasses on.
Now, first we need to tell people the reason we're talking about marriage
Okay.
today. One, a few people have asked for us to talk about it.
Yes.
But also, it's our anniversary coming up.
How many years?
31 years. Again, I want to remind people I was a child bride. We've been married 31 years.
31 years.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Amazing.
At least the last 25.
Have been really good.
Really good.
The first 6,
We were working it out.
we were working it out.
You just figure it out.
Yeah,
And those of you who've been married for a while, you understand exactly what that is. All right. So Proverbs 19:14. This is an awesome passage. It says, houses and riches. I'm reading from the Classic Amplified, which I enjoy. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers. But a wise, understanding, and prudent wife is from the Lord.
That's a good one.
So you are from the Lord.
Yep. I'm God's gift
And that's
To
what it
you.
says in
to
the
you.
Passion Translation,
I'm going to
right?
remind you of that. Yes, in the Passion Translation, it says, you can inherit houses and land from your parents, but a good wife only comes as a gracious gift from God.
You are a
So
gift.
I am God's gift to you.
Oh,
I just want you to remember that.
that makes me feel special.
Does it? You should feel very special.
All right, so marriage, that is a huge topic.
Yep.
And we could take this down many avenues.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of a story. Lots of stories.
Lots of
That's what
stories.
we
You
do
always
here.
have lots of stories.
Yes, I've had a lot of life.
Yeah.
In 58 years. But I remember meeting up with your parents, and I wasn't going to ask for your hand in marriage. I'd already decided that was going to happen.
You're going to inform them?
Yes,
Yes.
it was more of an informative.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom and Dad, if you thought I was coming to ask for permission. I
Right.
was more like informing you
Yes.
that I wanted to marry Eva.
Yeah.
And I remember your mom asking me a question, something along the lines of, why do you think you'll be a good husband to Eva?
That's a good question.
And my first thought, which I didn't say, was, I think I can out-talk her. 'Cause-
Which is true. I think my mom, when we first came over to the house and met my parents, when we were dating, she was shocked by the fact that you talked more than I did. And she was like,
I'm a communicator.
yeah,
It's what I do.
very few people.
And I was raised in a household of 5 kids, pretty much a single mom most of our youth. And
Yeah.
so if you couldn't talk, you never got heard.
Yes.
So I think that's where I developed a very loud
Yeah.
conversational style. But I remember sharing that scripture, and I'll probably look at it a little later in Ephesians 5, about how a husband needs to lay down his wife like Christ
Lay down his wife?
laid down his wife.
Oh, that's a different, that is marriage.
That is a
But
marriage.
that's different. This is a kid's show. So you probably want to go into that.
This isn't a kid's show. I don't ever check that box on YouTube. I say this is adults
a key.
only.
This is a key to marriage. Though.
Lay down your wife. Lay down your life like Christ laid his down for the church, right?
Okay, so what's the verse? That's a different translation.
That's in Ephesians.
That's the Passion Translation. Let me tell you right now. That
That
is
is the Passion Translation, which I also like.
Oh my gosh. So this you shared with my parents before you married me?
Yeah, I said I want to lay down.
All right, let's rein it back in.
Oh my
What did
gosh.
you put in this coffee, Joe? My gosh.
Yeah, Joe made us coffees, and wow.
He said it was special.
It's
He said it was special today.
Special Thanksgiving blend. Which, by the way, we record
God.
this and tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving.
By the time this
belated.
airs, it'll be probably Christmas.
It's probably Christmas.
Anyways.
Merry Christmas.
So-
Happy Hanukkah.
Back to the...
Right? We should cover all the bases. Kwanzaa?
You know what? I
Is that a
think
thing?
this year we need to celebrate Hanukkah because I want 8 presents, like 8 days of presents.
Okay, but then you know what that means. You got to spin the dreidel.
That's fine.
That's going to be a daily event.
I want some of those
I'm
chocolate
going to
golden
buy a massive
coins.
dreidel.
A massive dreidel.
Anyway.
We're going to light some candles.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, back to the
Merry
verse.
Christmas.
Where were you going?
No, I was just going to say that.
Lay down your life.
Like,
lay down.
Let's
your
just
life.
go to it.
Let's go back.
Let's just go to it. Let's just go to it. You can tell we're not professionals. We're just happily married.
We're not professionals.
All right. Let's go to Ephesians. Ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da.
Do you need help finding it?
Yeah, it must be in my other Bible. It's got to be in my other Bible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I have a story on that one too.
Your other.
When a guy told me that. No, it's right here. Ephesians 5:24. As the church is subject to Christ, so let wives also be subject in everything to their husbands. We can just stop there. That's an hour-long conversation. It says subject in every. Anyway, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water of the word.
Awesome.
And I remember sharing that with your
Yeah.
mom, and I remember the look on her face. Like, ding, 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 ding.
Here's a winner.
Right?
We'll let him marry
Right
her.
answer.
Yes.
Right answer.
Yes. Right answer.
But that was really my heart.
yeah.
Right? And we've probably told people before, like, I really wanted to honor you and respect you because
Yeah.
I knew I loved you, and I'd never felt a love like that before.
Right.
Like, we didn't kiss until they said, you may now kiss your bride, right?
Well, you kissed me on the cheek.
I think it was the
but you
forehead.
didn't- And on the forehead. No, on the cheek.
Was it
But
the
you
cheek
never
the night
kissed me
before?
on the lips while we were dating.
When
And
did
think
I
that's
when did I
important.
first kiss you on the cheek?
I think we were engaged.
We were engaged.
Yeah, we were engaged. And so I think that's important to talk about because one of the things in our relationship was that we made a decision when we first started dating that we were going to be absolutely pure
Right.
and that we were going to respect each other and honor the Lord with our relationship.
Yeah.
And we both felt like, if we kiss each other on the lips, it's going to lead to more. And so let's not even open that door.
I think that was my call.
Yeah. I think it was your call.
I think I told you that.
But I think
I said, if I kiss you on the lips,
Yeah.
I'm going to want more.
Right.
Right? Because I won't be satisfied. So I'm just going to not even open that door.
Right. Yeah.
But I told you, I said, I'm totally attracted to you.
Yeah.
I want to put my mouth on your mouth. Trust me, a lot, all the time.
And then I remember your friends. I remember your friends saying,
These are my worldly friends.
your worldly friends. And what did they say?
They said, bro, you got to test that car before you commit to it.
Right.
And I said, if you throw me the keys to a Ferrari, I just say thank you.
Yes.
I don't need to test drive it.
Right.
I know what that is.
Right. So I think the fact that you respected me enough and you respected our relationship to the Lord,
Right.
to me, that said a lot. And it made me trust you because I thought you're putting your own needs aside or your own desires aside, I should
Right.
say, and just honoring and respecting our relationship. And it just built a lot of trust. So I knew that even as we were getting married, that I could trust you.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So I think that's a key in, a healthy relationship is to, set up those boundaries when you're dating.
Well, yeah. And then it made the wedding night special.
Right.
Right. It made every part of our wedding
Right.
leading up to our time together very, very special.
Right.
Which hadn't been the case.
Because I feel like the intimacy is really God's gift to marriage.
Right.
That intimacy.
Right.
Becoming one.
Yeah.
And so, I think that the world wants you to think, make it cheap
Yeah.
and lose the specialness of it.
Right.
And so, I think that was a big deal in our relationship.
Yeah. I think it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about marriage. So
Yep.
some of you out there might be getting engaged. Some of you may be married. Some of you may be challenged in your marriage.
Yeah.
So I think a good launch would be to start with some of our early marriage
Yes.
and
Yep.
some of the decisions we made
Early on.
that really helped.
Yes. I think the biggest thing that we did, and I'm sure this was through marriage, in the church we were a part of was really big into discipling relationships. And I think that really helped us at the beginning
Yeah.
of our marriage was to be able to have a couple or couples in our life who were married longer than we were, who were more mature, who
Right.
could help us early on and just to, get advice from. And so I think that's really important to have people in your life who are further along than you are and who can give you insight and wisdom and help bounce things, ideas off. And so I think that was super helpful. But I think my favorite thing, I think the thing that was really important, was we developed rules of engagement.
Rules of engagement.
And that is...
That's right.
So
now we're not talking getting engaged,
no.
the ring.
I'm talking so there's going to be conflict.
Right.
Oh, there's going to be conflict. You're having two individuals who are coming together as one. So sparks are going to fly. There's going to be conflict. So we developed rules of engagement, which is when
how to fight fair.
How to fight fair.
How to fight fair.
And I would highly recommend coming up with these things not in the heat of the moment, right? These are things we developed and sat down and
when we were in a good place,
in a good place. So let's talk about some of those rules of engagement.
Okay, so I think number one was we were never to call each other names.
Yes.
So I wasn't allowed to say anything outside of Eva.
Right. There's no name calling at all. Like that is just a no.
No name calling. Another one was we will never go to bed angry.
Yep, that was another one.
Let's talk about that one.
That was a tough one for me because I remember one time, and we had been married probably 2 years, 1 year, 2 years. And I don't know what you did that made me so mad, but I did not want to go, into the same room with you. I was going to sleep on the couch. And I remember I grabbed my pillow and I grabbed my blanket and I stormed out and onto the couch. And I think you stormed out with, oh, no, no, no. Nope. And
no, I was like, hey.
You would not let me sleep on the couch.
No, that is not happening.
Yep, not happening.
We will brew a pot of coffee.
Yep,
we'll
we will work this out.
And we're going to figure this out.
Which I think we did.
We did.
And the Bible says, don't let the sun go down while you're still angry.
Exactly.
Now, the sun was probably already down.
Yeah, guarantee.
But we stayed up and worked it out until,
Yeah.
And so, again, these things are not easy.
No.
And I think that's one thing is, you've got to be willing to persevere.
Yes.
To fight for what's important.
Yep.
I think my favorite rule of engagement was the timeout.
Oh,
was the timeout. Timeout. So timeout is if, things are starting to get heated, the argument's starting to get heated, either one is allowed to call timeout and just go, okay, stop. All conversation stops.
Right.
But we set a time limit. Okay, we're going to come back together and discuss this in an hour.
I think it was a 1 hour.
Like a 1 hour time limit because I need time to calm down. I know if I keep talking in this emotional state, it's not going to be good. And I know if you keep talking in this emotional state, it is not going to be good. So time out. We both walk away.
Yep.
Take an hour, calm down, pray.
Right.
And then come back together. And that, I think, was a huge, 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 super helpful.
And when we say time out and walk away, like I know for me, I always left the house. Well, the apartment back then.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I was in the other room going, God, what is wrong with this woman? That wouldn't be helpful.
That's not helpful.
That's not helpful to reconciling and bringing the emotion down. Who is this woman you gave me? What's her problem?
She doesn't feel like a gift right now.
Right. Yeah.
What kind of gift is this?
Yeah, what kind of gift did you give me? No.
The gift that keeps on giving.
But there's wisdom in walking away. For me, I always went and just took a prayer walk and calmed down, and sometimes you were the one more volatile and I was just like, Lord, move in her heart, help her to see, this marriage is worth fighting for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we were ever at the point of talking separation or divorce ever.
Well, I think that was also one of our rules of engagement was you could never say divorce. Like that was just not.
Or I don't know why I married you or anything along those lines.
Yeah, that was no-go.
That was a no-go.
Cannot say those things. And I think, it was just, listening to a friend of ours on Facebook and she was saying, if the devil can get you to think wrong, he can get you to act wrong.
Oh, I've heard that.
And when we entertain those thoughts, right, then, if I entertain those thoughts of divorce,
right,
then the enemy can get me to act on those
Yeah.
things. So I can't even entertain. Those are thoughts I've got to take captive.
Well, that's a biblical principle,
That's a
right?
no-go.
Take
Yep.
every thought captive and
Right.
make it obedient unto
Make
the
it.
Lord.
You got to make
Right?
it.
Nobody's taken captive on their own will.
Right.
So when you get those crazy, and I don't care about anything, marriage, friends, whatever, you got to grab that thought
Right.
and wrestle that thing into captivity,
Yep.
submission, and then just let it go.
Yeah. And for me, there's times where I'm in such a place emotionally that I will myself to,
Right.
make it obey Christ. And that's where I just go, Lord, help me. Lord, would you help me? I'm getting bombarded with these thoughts.
Yeah.
Would you help me to think about this the way you want me to think about it? And so I think that's the other thing, is just getting into a place of humility.
Right.
Just going, I can't. These things are bombarding me right now.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And you need to know in marriage, because I'm recalling a terrible situation that I put us in. Because when those two come together as one, so in life, you're kind of more disciplined, check down the list, left brain, analytical. I'm far more right brain, go with the flow. In fact, my name in Hebrew means he that flows freely, a man of liberty. And that's kind of
you. That's
that is
totally
totally
you.
me.
Yep.
It also means manly, conqueror, and
yeah.
all this stuff. But
Go with the flow.
yeah, I'm kind of just, I've lived life by the seat of my pants.
Yep.
I don't have a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's why I went to 4 different colleges, right? I'm not, I'm like, wherever the wind takes me,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
ready.
go.
Let's roll.
Yeah. It's the sailor in you.
Yes, that's why the
Wherever the wind
merchant
blows.
marine was
Yes,
an awesome
that's where I'm
career
gonna
for me,
go.
because every day was different.
Yes.
I'm in a different part of an ocean, on a different continent.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Like that, just I feel alive in those environments. But you're more structured.
Yes.
Okay. And I remember one year we're having a garage sale that we did every year
My gosh.
to raise money to send to foreign lands, to plant churches and
yep.
hire staff and, take care of, getting the gospel out.
Yeah.
And this was early on. This was probably year 1, 2,
No, this
3.
was, I think 4 years in.
4 years
I remember
in.
where we were living.
Oh,
at
we
the
were
time.
living in Alameda. That's
Yeah,
right.
So we were probably 4
Yeah,
years in.
about 4 years in. And you were diligently planning for the garage sale.
Because I'm a do it ahead of time, right? That's my
Yes.
personality. Do it now so you don't have to rush at the end.
See, my whole thing is
Your whole thing is rush at the end.
No.
And make everybody else have to rush at the end with
it's
you.
not that important. And I'm
You're a fly by the seat of your pants.
yes.
Yes.
So I do great in all situations because I
You
just
do.
flow with it.
You do.
But I remember you had like a spreadsheet. You had your cost analysis. You put stickers on every
I
item.
was ready.
I just had a box and different things I was going to sell. And I'm like, I'll price them as I go, right?
Yep.
Haggle with people, that's more my thing. So,
Yep.
so we get ready to go and you bothered me for like 2 days.
Yeah. So that nagging wife, those verses on the nagging
Yes.
wife, that was me.
That was you.
I'll admit it.
Going, hey,
Yep.
have you priced your items?
have you done it
Do you
yet?
want to add them to my spreadsheet?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't need a spreadsheet.
Like as the days were getting closer, I remember.
You were on me. Good. I'm glad you realized you were just like
I admit,
poking
I'll
the
admit.
bear,
Yes, yes.
And I was like, I'll get to it. And life in the ministry was
Stressful
busy
anyway.
enough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's busy.
Busy.
And so I remember the morning of, you're like, you didn't mark your stuff, right?
Yep.
You were on me.
I was mad.
And I was like loading it all into the car, loading it into the trunk, and we were driving and you were still on me. You just would not stop.
I would not.
And
It's true.
I was like,
I'm
got it.
persistent like that.
I got it. And I remember we were driving to the garage sale and I finally just yelled 2 words,
Yep, 2 words.
but I
Yelled.
raised my voice.
Yeah.
I went from I'm normally around a 4, I probably went up to an 8.
Yeah.
And I said, shut up.
To which I immediately burst into tears.
Yes, you did.
Thought you were going to start beating me. That's totally where I went.
What made you think I was going to start beating
you? Raised your voice. People don't yell at me.
Right. You didn't grow up in a household with yelling. See, I grew up in a household full of yelling. So
for me, yelling and raising, that's
traumatic.
Traumatic.
Yes.
And so I immediately started crying. We turned around and went back home. I ran into the bathroom of the apartment. We had a little teeny apartment. And I immediately got on the phone to the elders of the church. Because I was thinking, you're going to beat me. And I locked the door and I'm crying. And yeah. That was bad.
It
was bad.
And I'm thinking, why is she freaking out? I just told her to shut up. Now, I think it was the first and only time I've told you to shut up in our marriage.
Yep.
And I had to realize, like, for me, that was just called growing up.
Yeah.
To hear someone yell, shut up, or yell at you.
Right.
For you, it was trauma.
Yeah, because I'd never had that kind of,
And that's something maybe we can touch on. Like, when you got two people coming from different backgrounds, obviously there's going to be conflict.
Yep.
We've already talked about rules of engagement. Those are good. But then understanding how I didn't know in the moment that I would cause you to burst into tears, run up the stairs, lock yourself in a bathroom, and call the elders of the church.
Right.
I'm surprised you didn't call the police, right, if you were that scared.
Right.
But we need to realize that because we can do things to each other that we don't think's a big deal. But if the other person does, we need to stop. We need to back away. We need to talk about it.
Yeah, important.
And that I think that's a key too. And we're going to have to do a part 2 to this.
Well, I think communication is huge.
Yes.
And we'll do a part 2. But communication is, even after the argument and things calm down, is, to evaluate the argument and what was going through my mind when you yelled, or what was going through your mind as I'm nagging, but not again in the heat of the moment. It's, seeing things from the other's perspective.
Well, and it takes a great deal of humility because no one likes to lose.
Right.
At anything.
Right.
Right? Nobody likes to lose. And what happens in arguments is, I don't know of a single argument I've ever had in my life where the person won me over. By increasing their volume or touching on another part of the topic. I'm just like...
No, that doesn't do it.
That doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And too many times when we've counseled marriages, they get in conflict because they don't communicate calmly, respectfully, humbly.
Right.
Like, it takes a lot of humility for me to come to you and say, you know what, I was wrong and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, people throw out sorry like no big deal or my bad, right? Just kind of flippantly. But when people tell me my bad, now if it wasn't a big thing, then I'm like, yeah, you're right, you're bad, glad you acknowledged. But if it's a bigger deal and they go, my bad, I'm like, you do not see how bad it was. Right? Now, and I'm sorry, please forgive me. Yeah. That's the other thing in rules of engagement. Right? We talked about
apologize.
If you apologize and the other person needs to say, I forgive you.
Yes.
Now, when I say I forgive you, that means I'm done. I took that chapter, I crinkled it up, threw it away. I'm not going to bring it back up.
Right.
And too oftentimes, I think we like to bring those things back up.
Record. We keep a record.
Keep no record of wrongs.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that was helpful for people.
Yeah. We'll do part 2. We'll do part 2.
Yes, we'll do a part 2. How about we do that next week?
Sounds good.
All right.
Love you.
I love you.